Tonight on Patriots This Week.
That's a big hole right side, and they lost the ball. Handoff Stevenson. It is a fumble. The second lost fumble today. Get out of there. The pocket. He's in trouble. May's got to lose the ball. May's going to lose it. It's another turnover, 5th of the day.
On a perfect afternoon for football, the Patriots were anything but perfect.
We'll clearly address the ball security, and we got to move on.
But before we're on to Carolina, Drake May summed up the feelings of Patriot Nation.
You know, it's tough and it stings.
Yeah, just hurting ourselves. It hurts.
So now the Patriots are hoping to ease the pain, and the remedy is the Carolina Panthers. Now, it's Patriots This Week.
Throws down on the fly. He's upended into the end zone. He dives in for a second touchdown.
On Sunday, in a game of give and take, the Patriots gave it away 5 times, and the Pittsburgh Steelers took a 21-14 win back to Pittsburgh and a 2-1 record as the Pats fall to 1-2. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Patriots This Week. I'm Bob Socci with my radio partner from 98.5 The Sports Hub, Scott Zolak, and with Brian Hoyer alongside as well. And guys, they say the biggest determinant between winning and losing in the NFL of all the variables is the turnover margin, and the Steelers were bogged down, did little offensively through the long stretch of that game. The Patriots dominated from the second quarter into the fourth, and yet they lose with 5 giveaways.
You take your Pro Football Focus numbers and stick those things somewhere. It's turnovers, it is. 2 weeks in a row, you really controlled the game, like down in Miami, and we got nervous at halftime. That was a 1-point game at the half, and this one you sort of get down in, but you come back. And that's a tough one. You had this game. And this is one we'll be looking back at the end of the year and saying, boy, if they only beat Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I think it goes back to the old line from the old ball coach here. You can't win until you keep from losing. And I think if you look at this game, the Patriots did enough well, offense, defense, but ultimately when you give the other team the football that many times and 2 touchdowns result off of turnovers, it's just too hard to win. How do you fix that? I don't know. There were times we knew we were going against a stripping team. Bill in practice, he said, if you carry the ball in practice, you're going to go all the way down the field, they're going to punch at it, you're going to run all the way back to me, they're going to punch at it, and you have to physically hand me the football back. And it was just the emphasis, the point of emphasis to say, look guys, when you carry that football, you carry the entire hopes and dreams of this organization, and we can't give it to the other team.
I've heard people say, too, to send a message to everybody about accountability, that Mike Vrabel needs to bench Ramondre at the least, if not let him go. But it seems to me his message is to everybody when he talks about you better block longer than the ball carrier has the ball in his hands and the play's over. It's sending a message, it seems, to the entire team.
Look, this has been an issue for Ramondre. It's got to get fixed. But ultimately, to me, how this gets fixed is when the players are accountable to each other. It's when the guys in the locker room look at each other and say, I don't want to be the one who lets down Hunter Henry. I don't want to be the one who lets down Robert Spillane or Harold Landry. And I think that type of culture, when it doesn't need to be said by the coaches, that's when you get over the hump. In all honesty, I know people are hard on Mondre and Gibson and Drake and all those, but I like Vrabel standing up for his players too, especially in the media. We don't know what's going on in that meeting room. I'm sure it's not all sunshine and roses, but there's something to be said for sticking up to your players. And I think he said, look, I don't know what we're going to do, but I know we're going to need Mondre. And that's true. We credit him week before Miami comes down with this crazy catch. It really ignites the team.
Game ball. Get a game ball.
Yeah, it's the humbling part of the NFL, right? One week you're the hero, the next week you're the GOAT.
Well, speaking of the fumble by Ramondre inside the 1, Drake May said after the game that as the quarterback, he's got to remind guys, hey, we only need 1 here. Even with the play with Pop Douglas, the 4th down attempt when he was stopped short of the chain. We've got to, make sure we get that 1st down. You've been in the huddle as quarterbacks. What kind of message are you sending in situations like that?
Yeah, that's natural leadership stuff right there. You shouldn't have to ask him that after the game where, man, I wish I would have done that. You should already be doing that. Part of the problem is, too, like I remember with Joe Milton and Drake when we did some production meetings going back to the rookie year, they told us in production meetings, we haven't called a play in the huddle since we were 17. And that just stunned me. Because in the huddle, that's where you're given direction.
And then one of the greatest privileges in my career is I got to watch Tom Brady and how he worked the huddle every day for the first 4 years of my career, and then came back as a veteran and saw him do it again. And Tom literally would be talking about situations. He called the play, hey, we got to stay in bounds here, or listen, we got to make sure we get out of bounds on this chunk play in a 2-minute situation. The ability to communicate and be the coach on the field, I think Drake's getting there. He's looked very comfortable. I mean, you take away the interception and the fumble, he played a really solid game. And I think, as I saw this morning, he's top 10 in almost every passing category. So he's taking those next steps. And then to Zoe's point, okay, when you feel that level of comfortability calling the play, knowing what to do, now you got to start reminding what other people have to do too.
Then there's the other turnover that he had late in the game, of course, before Pittsburgh scores the winning touchdown. How do you coach it out of a guy whose instinct is to keep trying to make a play, and often he does by extending plays?
Show it on film.
But you got to know when the journey is over.
Put the film up, eat it, eat it. Eat it. Don't try to make a play here. You got 3 guys converging on you. He did a good job getting back in the pocket, had 2 hands on the ball, stepped up, started to run. Then 3 guys started converging on him. Someone flashes, and all of a sudden, I'm going to flip it because maybe I saw a college game or somebody else in the 1 o'clock or late game last week do the shovel pass. Josh Allen.
Yeah.
That's
Josh Allen took that from Drake last year.
That's the guy we're comparing him to, right?
Yeah.
He'll learn from it.
Let's get to the defense, because a slow start let the Steelers take the 2-touchdown lead, but then the defense shut down Pittsburgh until Pittsburgh's final drive.
Landry and Williams are starting to come together with pressure. Spillane, I thought, wrapped well this game. He finally, everybody was complaining first couple games he didn't get the tackles. Well, he got the tackles this time. I thought they were active up front. I think their ability to win inside and get pressure with 4, that's 2 weeks in a row now getting pressure with 4. That's going to slowly build and get after people, and that'll help them.
Yeah, I think Aaron Rodgers looked uncomfortable all day. I mean, I know they didn't sack him. They were coming in, leading the league in sacks, but they had pressure. I mean, even the interception to Spillane, and you've been there before, when those guys get pushed in your face and you're like, well, I see the coverage. I should be good here. You're kind of throwing blind to a spot knowing that the in-cut's there. He doesn't even see Spillane because there's pressure coming up in his face. So, for as many sudden changes as they had, I thought this was probably the best game they played all year.
Mike Vrabel coached with an aggressive mentality, and it really started with the coin toss. Patriots win. We've seen the Patriots for years defer. He takes the ball. Of course, the strategy backfires because of the turnover.
Yeah.
But he thought the offense had played well in Miami, wanted to continue the momentum, it seems.
You got to play from out front a little bit, and you need to give your team a spark. And I think that's why they took the ball. They liked their pairings against Pittsburgh. We could get up on these guys. And then when it didn't happen, we're backed up. Man, turnovers, we got to go here.
Look at the aggressiveness. What was it on their own?
Inside their own 30.
Yeah, 15-yard line on 4th and 1. And I'm like, they're going to try to draw him off
Right,
sides.
that's what I said. That's what
all of a sudden, we're running speed option
like,
the early 90s.
I mean, here it comes.
It's, I think it's, look, there's a kind of a trend going that way. We see Dan Campbell do it. We see McVay do it. All these guys are doing it.
Establish culture.
Yeah, it's establishing culture. It's saying, I trust you guys. I trust the defense if we don't get it. Vrabel's trying, to your point, he's trying to establish culture. He's having his players' backs in the media. He's being aggressive. I think things will come together, and it'd be really shocking to me if they put a full complementary game together if they don't win by 2 touchdowns.
Let's ask about Pop Douglas. Last play of the game. Where should he have been in his route? What should he have done once the ball was in his hands?
I blame the player, and I blame the play call. Because if I'm 4th and 1, let's get it to Diggs. Let's flip the 2 players. Diggs catches everything we throw it to. He's an experienced receiver. It's just limited right now with Pop for whatever reason.
It's 4th and 1. We always say get past the sticks. Even if your route is designed, let's just say on a diagonal, it's 3 to 4 yards, and okay, it's whatever the down
Billy
distance
O'Brien
is.
teapot say.
Yeah, you got to make sure, and ultimately, even with all that being said, creep up in your formation. Dan Orlovsky actually did a good job breaking that down. Look, you're off the ball, but this isn't college anymore. These refs are going to let you get up there. Make sure you're okay. Cheat the alignment a little bit, and then when you catch it, and Kyle Shanahan had a great term for this, and Kendrick Bourne, who we saw play here for a long time, he did it better than anyone else. He called it catch and turn into your shadow. When you know it's just that amount of distance to go, you can't mess around by going backwards. Look, he's got enough room to get that yard, get down, and he's going to get smacked in the back, but that's what you got to do in that situation.
All right, we'll continue with more. We'll hear from the Hall of Famers on Saturday and talk about how the words of Bill Parcells and Julian Edelman, speaking of great slot receivers for the Patriots, apply to this year's team right after this.
Patriots This Week is brought to you by Cross Insurance, official insurance broker of the New England Patriots. By DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the New England Patriots. And by Sports Illustrated Tickets, 50 million sports, concerts, and theater tickets. 0 fees. Fans deserve better. Visit SITickets.com today.
This week's Cross Insurance Player of the Week is Robert Spillane. The 6'1", 229-pound linebacker led the defense with 15 tackles against the Steelers. Undrafted out of Western Michigan, the 29-year-old also picked off Aaron Rodgers for his first interception as a Patriot. The 7-year veteran comes from a football family. His grandfather, Johnny Latner, won the Heisman Trophy in 1953. The Player of the Week is brought to you by Cross Insurance, the official insurance broker of the New England Patriots.
Now, New England was the perfect fit for my mentality. A hard-working region that puts heart and toughness above all. And your support meant more than you'll ever know.
This place has a place in my heart. It always will. We sometimes reflect on things, and you wish you would have done things a little differently. Well, when I come back here and I see this, I wish I would have done things a little differently.
We welcome you back inside the Bob's Discount Furniture studio with the words of Bill Parcells and Julian Edelman from the Hall of Fame induction ceremony on Saturday. Beautiful day, great turnout, guys, and really words of wisdom from both Parcells and Edelman, one about building a culture and a winning program, and of course, in Julian's case, really crafting a remarkable story in his career. Long shot with a long career.
I'll take Parcells, you take Edelman.
Perfect.
I built Parcells for 4 years, obviously, and I was here prior to his arrival when it was really bad. Bill Parcells made football important here. The second he walked in, he established that culture that we sit here and talk about on every show. You knew where you stood. He ruled with an iron fist. You walked on eggshells during the week. Practices were miserable, but when you got to games on Sunday, you knew you were ready to go because he had you prepared. And I spent some time with him up in the club after it. This wasn't a hit and run with him where, all right, I'm going to just go get the red jacket. He was truly shaken up, and you heard it from his speech when he said, sometimes in life, you wish maybe you handled some things a little differently. And he started to get choked up talking about when you see what's here, I do wish I did handle some things differently. And Bill was a big, build it and go to the next place and build it and do it again. But he truly missed seeing some guys. He was happy to see a lot of us ex-players back. Called us the next day for thanking us to come. I'm so happy that Mr. Kraft and Jonathan said, let's get this thing done, because it should have happened a while ago. And they know it. Hey, things don't end great when you're playing a game of football, whether you're a coach, whether you're a player. You get fired, people move on, people leave, back doors are opened. And I'm glad that they were able to have cooler heads prevail and get him in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, very few guys leave on their own terms in sports. Julian Edelman, though, is one.
Yeah, he did. And he had opportunities to go other places. He mentioned that, obviously, with Tom. And not a lot of people know this, but when Danny Amendola signed here and Julian was pretty upset about it, I was in Cleveland. He called me. He's like, just tell them I'll come there. They don't respect me here. I put all the work in. I think he made the right choice. It was amazing to see Jules up there in that red jacket. Pretty surreal for me because I'm close to 40 and I'm retired for 2 years now, but in my mind, I'm like thinking we're still in the thick of it. And I remember coming in as a rookie with Julian. We took the same flight from Cleveland. He was in from Kent State. I was from Cleveland. We took the same flight here, talked on the way over. He had his tucked in white polo with his khakis. He was a Boy Scout. And we hit it off, and we started that grind from day one, from rookie minicamp all the way till the end of his career. And you talk about someone carving out a place in history for himself. Truly incredible. And the one thing, and Parcells hit on it, and then you brought it back to Edelman, consistency. That's the biggest thing, right? Bill talked about it with the story of Willie McGinnis. Yeah. Anybody can do it for one game, anybody can do it for two, but can you do it for the course of the season and then over and over and over again? And I think Julian was the epitome of that when it came down to it at the end of his career. Tom knew, we all knew where the ball was going, and it went to him, and he did it, and so deserving and so proud of him.
All right, we go to our next break. I'm going to correct myself from the last break. More than a slot receiver, Julian Edelman. We'll come back and talk about the Carolina Panthers after this.
It's time now for your Zoe Show. We're going to take a look at another young quarterback. Bryce Young really needs no introduction. Former #1 pick from Alabama. He's small, meaning, no offense to my partner Bob Socci, but he is 5'10", and has some vision issues, I think, within the pocket. So we're going to take a look at some of these. Now, freeze it right here. 30 touchdowns, 22 interceptions in his career. So he's still coming on. He's young, as I said, 24. So they're trying to develop. But here's a problem right now if you're Carolina. You want to know why? I'm going to say you're a bad football team. Ball's inside the 1. You're in gun spread. Watch this throw. Watch him force the slant in here. That is not a high percentage play, people. I'm just telling you right now. What you want to do, freeze it right here, give it to the running back. But watch him here. Again, you have to put him in the gun because you got to create some field vision for him. Here's the snap. Look at a little rubber out right there. Bad play by the defender, but he takes the shot. He got benched last year, and I think that did help him. Now, escapability. Nice little pocket right here. He's going to get caught and go around this way. Watch it develop right here. This is the stuff you really don't teach you, coach. You don't practice this stuff. That's innate, that's inside you, that's inside your head. He does a good job getting up the sideline. We saw Drake May do this twice last week against Pittsburgh. So if you're defending him, keep him in the pocket, don't let him get outside. That's where he makes his plays. There's your Zoe Show.
Welcome back to the Bob's Discount Furniture Studio as Patriots This Week continues with a preview of the Pats and the Carolina Panthers. Patriots playing their 4th game of the season, 3rd home game. They're 0 for 2 here at Gillette Stadium thus far. Carolina comes in coming off a 30-0 win over Atlanta, by far the Panthers' best performance in their 1-2 start.
I'm glad that happened because if they get beat 30-0, they're coming in here and you're not taking them serious. So you're not in any position to take anybody serious. You can't win at home anymore. You need to start proving that you can do that. And they have some talent. I think the fact that they benched Bryce Young a year ago, that's another young quarterback, as you saw. We did the Zoe Show there, 24 years old, trying to find his way. It made him realize, I got to take this position and play better. And 30 touchdowns, 22 picks. He's somewhat productive, and they got him some talent on the outside.
Yeah, they got Ted McMillan. This is a team you don't know really well. I mean, that was one of the biggest emphasis I always took away from Bill when you'd play the Carolina Panthers. Look, you're only going to see them usually once every 4 years, right? And right now, new coaching staff for them last year, new coaching staff here. You got to get to know the opponent. But ultimately, for me, it's about the Patriots this week. I think that's what they got to look themselves in the mirror and say, doesn't matter who we're playing this week. We just can't beat ourselves. They're coming off a big victory. I think a lot of people didn't expect anything out of them. Atlanta had looked good, so there they go. They get a few turnovers, and that's the difference in the game.
I think they're trying to build it the right way down. Get good football people in there. Dan Morgan, who was a great middle linebacker for them, president of player operations. So football people around it. You know, this is not the Cam Newton Carolina Panthers, from 10 years ago, but this is a team that could come in here and give you some problems. So you got to take them serious.
And I think when you look inside the box score, to Brian's point about it being a Patriots-centric game, it's about the Patriots. The Falcons killed themselves with 2 missed field goals early. John Parker Romo had a great day, of course, the week before on primetime football. But then they also have a pick 6.
Right.
It wasn't an offensive explosion to get to 30 points for Bryce Young and the Panthers offense.
Yep, and that's the thing. You've got to be able to adapt, and maybe we'll see Christian Gonzalez a little bit in this game. We don't know, so we got a couple days here till you decide that to exactly. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
The one thing that I'll be interested to see is with a young quarterback like Bryce Young, do they scheme up some of these TE games? Do they have some of these pressures to really make him think and really try to recognize it post-snap?
All right, we'll be back with more predictions next right after this.
Patriots This Week is brought to you by Cross Insurance, official insurance broker of the New England Patriots. By DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the New England Patriots. And by Sports Illustrated Tickets, 50 million sports, concerts, and theater tickets. 0 fees. Fans deserve better. Visit SITickets.com today.
Make sure you start Jordan Mason. The 4th-year back is now the man in the Minnesota backfield. Start Mason when the Vikings cross the pond and take on the porous Steelers run defense in Dublin. But sit Keon Coleman. The receiver has slipped down on Josh Allen's list of targets. It's wise to bench Coleman in what looks to be a Bills blowout in Buffalo against the Saints. This week's sleeper is J.K. Dobbins. The Denver back has been delivering solid numbers in the first 3 games. Expect that to continue when the Bengals visit Mile High Stadium. This week's fantasy picks are brought to you by Verizon.
Welcome back to Patriots This Week. Time for predictions. Pats and Panthers, Sunday at 1. Scott Zolak, who wins?
What game is this? Week 4, right? 1, 2, 3, not Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs is your game changer. Patriots win. 24-10, win by 14, get right game.
All right, Brian?
I'm going to go with the Patriots 28-10. They learn from their mistakes. They play a complimentary football game. Drake May goes over 300 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's the player of the game.
He's going with the Charlotte guy against his hometown team,
right.
of course, in his new home here in Foxboro. Patriots and the Panthers, Sunday at 1. For Scott Zolak and Brian Hoyer, I'm Bob Socci. So long, everyone.
See you, everybody.